So one running back is gone. The Minnesota Vikings are now on the clock, and the Minnesota Vikings had to endure a season without, for understandably so, the reasons, Adrian Peterson. But that certainly wasn't what Mike Zimmer, the then first-year head coach, first-year offensive coordinator, North Turner planned. They put together, considering that quick change in what they had, and Teddy Bridgewater, the rookie quarterback, and where they eventually went. They put together a pretty decent season, I think, considering. Now, there's a lot of work to do in a division with the Green Bay Packers, but this is year 2 for those guys.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pick here where you start looking at defense. This could be where maybe you see your first corner come off the board here. They need someone to pair with Xavier Rhodes on the outside, because on the outside the numbers last year, they got blistered. So could this be an area where you see the first corner come off the board?
Well, if that's the case, let's see. Calvin Johnson in the division. There's the Packers throwing game in the division. There's Jeffries and the Bears in the division. Let's see if that's what they do.
With the 11th pick in the 2015 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Trae Waynes, defensive back, Michigan State.
And there it is, Trae Waynes, who from Kenosha, Wisconsin. Of all the players, Mel, all the players at the Combine was the second fastest. And so that can't hurt in this day and age.
Well, interesting, Boom. You could have reunited Devontae Parker with Teddy Bridgewater, and they opted not to. So they go to the cornerback need area, which it is. Obviously, Trae Waynes is a solid football player, but you look at him in coverage at Michigan State. There were times where he struggled. Lewis, you're a former defensive back. There were some concerns about Trae Waynes, whether this would be too high in the draft to take him. Yeah, he wasn't my #1 ranked corner, but you can see what they're drafting here. They're drafting a kid who loves to play press. They don't play a whole bunch of coverages at Michigan State. The majority of the time he's lining up in press, or let's just say he's lining up close to the wide receivers. He didn't always press guys, but he always wanted to line up close. He liked to play a lot of man-to-man. If they weren't playing man-to-man, he's going to open his hips and play some kind of single high safety coverage. He has blistering speed, great recovery speed down the field. But there were some important games now where teams went after him and they exposed some of his weaknesses. We'll see what Mike Zimmer can do with him now.
Well, he's got to be able to tackle better. We talk about crack and replace all the time. When a wide receiver cracks your safety, the corner has to replace and make these tackles. And at times, I thought he was a liability at Michigan State as a run defender. You got to get off blocks, find a ball carrier, and wrap up. If you're not doing it consistently in college, you're going to struggle to do it in the National Football League. And I'm sure Mike Zimmer, the head coach, and his great defensive background will address Trae Waynes as a tackler. He has blinding speed. He has a lot of ball production, 6 career picks, 27 starts. He's all Big Ten. But to be a Pro Bowl corner at the next level, this kid better pick up his tackling.
And one thing he does, he plays the deep ball exceptionally well. 6 interceptions over the last 2 years. Remember, he was an outfielder on a baseball team. He was an excellent outfielder, excellent baseball player in high school. Tracking that deep ball is Trae Waynes' strength.
So the Vikings have picked the next 2 teams on the clock. Cleveland and New Orleans each have 2 first-round picks. So we start a lot of discussion on the Browns and on the Saints. We come back to an eventful first round here in Chicago at the 125 years young Auditorium Theater of Roosevelt University.
Superfly.